I had been researching Islam and international relations for a long time. And so when the Islamic Emirate appeared on the scene in the mid-90s, I responded to it from New York. Afghanistan had an ambassador in New York at that time. And he was a very learned man, a very cultured man, refined man. And I was very happy to be in his company. And he had a liking for me. We became friends, the ambassador. And while I was commenting on the Islamic Emirate as to whether or not it qualified as a Khilafah state, the ambassador was sending, in those days we didn't have the internet, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have videos, so we had cassettes, audio cassettes. So the ambassador was sending audio cassettes to Kabul. I don't know if he's still alive. He may even listen to this lecture. I can't even remember his name now. But what I do remember, Abdul Hakim Mujahid, mashallah, mashallah. What I do remember was that this was an educated man. Oh yes, and a cultured man. It was a joy to be in his company. This is the kind of man that Afghanistan chose to be the ambassador. So he was sending the cassettes of my lectures to Kabul, to the government. There were very few of us who were specializing on Islam and international affairs, very few. And then he reported to me that Kabul was not in agreement with you, Maulana. Kabul, the ulama of the government in Kabul differed with you. And he pointed two areas. When this lecture is on the internet, they listen to it in Kabul. He said, Kabul differed with you when you declared that Kabul should not be seeking to get UN recognition of the Kabul government as the legitimate government of Afghanistan, entitled to sit in the seat of Afghanistan in the United Nations. I said, that's wrong. They said, no, that's right. And so they persisted in their effort to get the United Nations to recognize them as the legitimate government of Afghanistan, entitled to sit in the Afghan seat in the UN. I hope they have learned their lesson now after 25 years. Because they were wrong and they were misguided at that time. Because the scholars had a Darul Uloom education. That's why. I don't want to be speaking disrespectfully of the Darul Uloom. But what can I do? I have to point out that the education is deficient. It is inadequate. They are not given the knowledge that they need in the Darul Uloom for the conduct of a modern state. How do you establish the Khilafah state in the modern age? The second thing the ambassador said to me was that I had said that the Afghan paper money, they call it the Afghan, in Pakistan it's called the rupee. I said that the Afghan is bogus, it's fraudulent, it's haram. They said no. Mufti said no. The muftis of Afghanistan, like the muftis of Pakistan, differed with me. Meaning, your Mufti Azam, is still of the view that your paper money is halal. I don't know what to do to contain my anger with this rubbish. My language now is harsh. But I have the right to be harsh in my language because our people are suffering. If you want to establish a Khilafah state, then I'm going to look at your economy. And I'll tell you very quickly whether you're a Khilafah state or you're bogus. So the ambassador said, Kabul differs with you. Kabul believes that the paper money is halal. 25 years have passed, and I don't know. I don't even know if the ambassador is still alive. I'd love to meet with him. But I don't know whether Kabul has learned any lessons since then. And so when this Yankee government falls, which seems inevitable, and the Islamic Emirate is restored, the easy part is now finished, fighting the Americans. That was the easy part. And the difficult part now begins, and that is how to establish an authentic Khilafah state in the modern age. And I have to share with you my conviction that your Darul Uloom education cannot prepare you to do that work. So do not be surprised if you see the Islamic Emirate in Afghanistan faltering and making mistake after mistake. Don't be surprised. I don't wish this at all. I wish them success, but there is no substitute for knowledge. And the last shower of scholarly rain is not coming in Afghanistan, because all that Afghanistan has is the Darul Uloom. And the Darul Uloom of Afghanistan is no different from the Darul Uloom of Pakistan. Allah says in the Quran that He has sent down this book. He says it in Surah An-Nahl, Tibyanan likulli shay, to explain all things. Did you hear that? Sab kuch, to explain all things. Well then, one of the most mysterious things that has ever occurred in history, which has spectacularly changed the world and is constantly changing the world and is dismantling the religious way of life, is modern Western civilization. Is it possible that the Quran has no explanation of modern Western civilization? Ask the Darul Uloom. They have no answer. Neither in Pakistan nor in Afghanistan. Because they don't know how to study the Quran. I am not ill speaking, my people. I'm not hating the Islamic resistance in Afghanistan. No, no, no. I'm just sharing with you the plain truth. The plain truth is that you do not have the knowledge of the Quran with which to be able to establish the Khilafah state in an age when modern Western civilization dominates the world. Because your Darul Uloom does not have the knowledge. But it's worse than that. It's worse than that. They know me. Of course they know me. I sat with the ambassador. He invited me, Abdul Hakim Mujahid, Dr. Abdul Hakim Mujahid. He invited me to his home for lunch. Kabuli palau. It was brown in color. And we sat down and we ate, Kabuli, the ambassador and myself. When we were finished eating, he said, Sheikh Imran, I have good news for you. I said, what is it? He says, Kabul is ready to meet with you, meaning the government. They are ready to meet with you now. And there is a conference in Lahore that you will be attending, and they have decided that they will send a delegation to Lahore to meet with you. That was good news. But 2 days later, 9/11 took place. 2 days later, 9/11 took place. And I never saw the ambassador again. And for all these 20 years, I've never had any contact with Kabul. Never. But they know me because they were ready to meet with me. And for 25 years now, I have been explaining and teaching the Quran as it explains the world today. This is Islamic eschatology. And for 25 years, the Darul Ulooms have all shut their doors on me. In Britain, they closed the doors of the masjid as well on me. They put their heads down in the sand and bury their heads there like ostriches and pretend that the modern world, modern Western civilization does not exist.